What is up? This is Colonial Puppet. My computer's having a stroke right now because I'm running more than one program. Uh, but that program is OBS and Windows 10 Minecraft, so I guess that's uh, resource intensive enough for it to think it needs to run its fans on full throttle. So I apologize if you hear that. I'll try and duck it out in post. But today I thought I'd do a quick and dirty video on how to make a cute little swamp house. By swamp house, I mean just kind of like a really simple like hut that's on stilts, obviously, because it's built in the swamplands above water. And as you can see, I have quite a few of them. And I'm gonna teach you how to make something along the lines of this. Obviously, you can take what you learned from this Let's Build and make many variants, depending on how creative you are. Because really it's just kind of like a pretty simple formula that you can add on to, experiment with. You can build things like this ugly little house, or you can build tiny little houses like this, or bigger houses, whatever you want. You can build temples and whatnot with what I'm about to teach you. So let's get started. But where should I build? Well, I've been meaning to extend this little city uh, this way, this side of this road, so like in this area. So let's get started. First of all, I want to figure out how I spaced this before. So let's count 1, 2. So 2 blocks away from the side of the road. So let's start right here. 1, 2. Oh wait, doing it the wrong way. 1, 2, 3. So that's where I want to start, at least from this road. From here, I'm going to do 2 blocks. So 1, 2. So get rid of these. This is where the corner of our house is going to start. Basically what you want to do is well, pick your corner and build out from there. And basically I tend to space these 2 blocks apart. So 1, 2, oops, build up at least to the water line. 1, 2, oops. I'm going to mess up every single one of these because it's hard to build underwater, at least in the Windows 10 version. So we've done 3. Let's do 5. Why not? You can do however many you want, depending on how big or how small you want this house to be. Do that. So 5 blocks, pretty big house. And then same thing here. Let's do something like that. 1, 2. Put our second one. The seaweed tends to get in the way of doing this, but that's all right. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 6. Let's make this a pretty. This is more of a mansion than a hut. And again, I'm going to keep it simple. You don't want to build too big, especially with these kind of houses, because they're pretty simple. Don't want to get too lavish with like what should be just kind of like a simple hut. All right, do that. And let's, instead of going all the way to 5 like we did over there, let's bring it in. Why not? All right, let's bring it in again. So what we're left with is going to be basically an L shape. Something like that. And then we can bring it out to the 5. 1, 2. Any shape you want. And then I think we have one more. Oh, one more. There we go. So we got the outline of our house, obviously. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and extend it 1 block up from the water line. Because we don't know, maybe it rains here and it floods the the already wet swampland and the water rises. You don't want your house to flood. So let's give it a comfortable amount of space above the water. The next thing we're going to do is basically reinforce our outline with dark oak, although you can use whatever wood you want. I kind of like the dark wood more. It kind of looks more, I don't know, it just kind of seems to fit the aesthetic more than um, other woods. Although what is it? The acacia? Is that how you pronounce that? That 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 wood looks good too. In fact, I used the acacia trapdoors for the windows later on. Now for the floor, I've been going with the lighter, I think the birchwood. Yeah, I've been using the birchwood, but again, you can use whatever you want. And I've been using planks instead of, or half slabs, I guess, instead of the full slabs to kind of lay down the floor work. Something like this. Just fill that in all the way around. Doesn't matter if it's going to be interior or exterior, like deck work. Just fill it all in. And if you want to get really realistic, you can go in and before you lay this down, you can create a grid work. So obviously, we just kind of did the perimeter of the house with these support beams. But if you wanted to do grid work and basically, so like there's two, bring this in two, and like make a little grid of 2x2 squares all on the underneath of the house and build up. You could to make it look more structurally sound, but I figure not a lot of people are going to be going underneath the houses, so it doesn't really matter in this case. Saves time, especially if you want to build out like I've done. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how we want to basically make this house, how we want to plan out the floor plan, that is. And an important thing of these swamp houses is the addition of a porch. Just because, it's a warmer climate, people like to sit out and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna, instead of building directly to the edge, these are like the corner struts that I use like just unchopped dark oak wood. Put it there, and I'm gonna try something different. Let's do an interesting corner porch like that. And then let's build it there. And since this is a pretty big floor plan, we can, or footprint, we can give it two. Why don't we give it two porches? Like that. So we're going to have this huge one that kind of extends the full length of the house and kind of bends down to this side of the house. And then we're going to have this back porch right here. Alright. And so after I put these, I want to start filling in the walls of the building. So usually when there's a corner like this, I don't put any windows. Here, obviously, we're going to need a door. Or we're going to want a door, that is. Don't necessarily need one, since we can just put one on this side. But I'll put a door here as well. And for doors, I just do 2 blocks up, 3 blocks over, and then 2 blocks down. Kind of outlining where we're going to put the door later. Alright. And this is the front of the house, ideally, so we're going to want to put a door in the middle of it. Since it's an even number, we're going to have to do a double door. So I'm going to leave 2 block wide space. Let me just set the time to 0 so it doesn't get dark on us. There we go. And these little openings here, I'm going to put windows in. Another door we're going to need here because this is going to be another porch, obviously. A window next to that. Then this is a pretty big flat wall, so we're going to want to leave that nice and open for windows. And for windows, usually when there's a door, I have this rule where I like to put a top and bottom. I use the dark oak stairs, kind of accentuate where the windows are going to be. Um, so next to a door, I put a bottom and a top to it. However, when it's open, for example here, I just put a bottom, but I leave the top open so that we have nice big wide windows that have some height to them as well. Then again, we do that, and we start putting in the windows. I use glass pane. Doesn't really matter because we're going to end up covering them up later. Something like that. Alright. And then I'm going to want to put in the doors. I'll just go over here and steal a door from their neighbor. They probably don't mind. Put a door in there. Put a door in there. And lastly, the double doors here. So there we go. Got a nice, nice little interior area planned out. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to steal back this dark oak wood planks and basically just draw the outline of the actual structure of the house, like so. Cool. Alright. Then let's do the porch area. So I'm going to leave the opening for the door, obviously. And I'm going to do a little perimeter, like so. Just around where we're going to put the porch in. This is obviously a smaller porch, but that's alright. It can just be like a lounge area. Alright. Then I'm going to start putting the vertical supports in. Let me see how I want to space this out. So what I usually do is I just line it up with the supports below to make it look as uniform as possible. So every 2 blocks, on the 3rd block you put a support, and also usually ends up matching up with the door as well, which is nice. Makes the whole thing look well thought out and planned. Alright. Next, what you're going to want to do is get the dark wood or dark oak slab and start filling it in. I built 2 blocks up from this initial kind of fence that we put in. That's how tall I like to build my my porches. So we got that. And I can't forget the little porch in the back. Alright. And there we go. So it's starting to look pretty nice already. We can start adding some details. The trapdoor I was talking about earlier, I just like to put them on all the windows. Kind of looks like blinds, makes it look more kind of, I guess, exotic. And it kind of serves a practical use as well. If they want shade, they can go out and close these, or if they want as much sunlight as possible, they can come out and open their windows up like so. And as such, I like to leave as much room in between, or I like to leave enough room in between the buildings so that they can open up their windows without interfering with the other houses. Alrighty. And then once we have that, it's time to add in the roof. Now, since we made an L shape, I have to decide whether I want the kind of pitch in the roof to go this way or this way. And part of me wants to do it. I'm not entirely sure. Well, first of all, let's do some math. Well, I think since this is like the shortest kind of nub, I'll build this out here like so, and then I will start the roof. So before I get started on the actual roof structure, I count 2 blocks in, and then I build like that, so that there's 2 blocks on either side. Put that in the middle. Same thing over here. And we start on the roof. So starting with the slabs, Then I build up 2, like so. And I kind of like to extend the roof out beyond the actual structure of the house. Kind of give it some depth, some detail, like that. Mirror that on this side. Something like that. There we go. Alright, and now we have to worry about this, which is fine. We just have to cover it up like so. Don't have to give a pitch to it at all, since it's just kind of like a little, it's almost like an addition. I also like to extend the roof down one. So instead of starting at the top, we just bring it down a half slab like so. On either side. Same over here. Looks nice. And another thing we can do is, if this looks a little ugly, we can build it out one and accentuate it like so. Makes it look a little nicer. Or if you don't like it, which in this case I'm not sure if I'm sold on it just yet. I think I'd like to finish the roof first. We can get rid of it like that. But before we do anything else, let's finish this roof. Alright, same thing up here. And then finish it off with this. Alright, and then I usually like to extend the very last part of the roof out an extra block. Kind of give it a point. So there we go. Got a nice looking little swamp house. Another thing I like to do to kind of give it some depth is, you can see I put those out like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here next to this door right here. And the same thing next to this door. And we're going to take our lantern. We're going to hang it from these. Oops. Because nothing really sells the like swamp house aesthetic as much as lanterns do. So really, if you just kind of want to hang them anywhere you feel like it's necessary. Don't go overboard, but never hurts to put a lantern in. Alright, and we're almost done, as you can see. It's looking pretty nice. For interior lighting, I don't really go too crazy. I usually just find where we put that little extra piece of terracotta up top. I like to just put those. That usually lights this whole area pretty well. And if you have a little addition like here, where it kind of comes in, you can put a light above the door. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For the interior, I personally really like the scaffolding that they added to the game. Aside from that, the dark oak wood stairs are pretty cool too, although in this case I don't want it blending in with the actual walls of the building, so like making this like a little, oops, wrong block, making this like a little corner, such as like that. Looks pretty nice. So that's like an eating area. We can do, let's put a bed in. What color should we make it? It's gray. Not gray. It's, light gray. Let's do light gray. Put it by there. Something like that. Put a little chest somewhere. Ooh. Maybe this person is a metalsmith like that. I have a little smith table. Maybe you give them a little furnace. Since this is like a really small area to work with, it's okay to kind of go as minimalist as you want on the interior. Maybe give them a bookshelf. What I'm looking for right now, though, is probably just have to search it. Chest, yes, there we go. Give them like a little chest by their bed, maybe a jukebox. Give them a little bookcase, things like that. Is it picture? No, it's not. Frame? Item frame? No, what am I looking for? It's not painting. There it is. Give them like a little painting. Are you only gonna do? Huh. I'm not sure how to cycle through the paintings, but I was gonna try and give them like a little one black painting there. And again, if you like the lanterns, you can, instead of putting those, you can like hang a little lantern above the bed, something like that. In terms of interior, I've said it before, I'm not very good at it, but that's all right. I get by, I guess. And there was something that I've never seen before, a composter. You can like put that outside. Oops. Outside their door. So yeah, that's pretty much how you you make a little swamp house. And last but not least, we have to connect it to the rest of the city. You can't do that without putting in these little stairs right here. Alrighty. And I think I'm going to call it for this tutorial. That's how you build a swamp house for your swamp city. I hope you found this little quick tutorial useful. Something to kind of differentiate from the 50-part Stadium Let's Build series that I've been working on for the past 2 years. This is something a little shorter, a little more concise, and probably shouldn't take too long for you guys to follow along and build at home. So be sure to check out my channel for my other Let's Builds and my other building tutorials. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been Colonial Puppet. Have a nice day.